If you've been anticipating the final season of Attack on Titan, the final season of Attack on Titan, oh, the situation's so confusing. You will have saw this morning, or maybe you're finding out right now, that the final season is coming back in March, but it's also going to be split into 2 halves, or 2 cours. We don't know. I've been spending like this entire morning, I've been trying to work on something, and it's a head down day, I need to focus, and then this news happens, and I was trying not to focus on it, but then I kept talking with Joey in our patron Discord. Shout out to you, Joey. Thanks for being a patron, man. But yeah, we've been trying to figure it out together. What is the situation with Attack on Titan's part 3 of the final season? Kingdom Hearts of the anime world, I swear. And we figured out some stuff that I just thought I'd bring up to you in case you were confused about it. They're going to start the first half of the season in March. The translation on a trailer, a couple trailers maybe on YouTube, it said the first cour. So that's why we looked into it. And it turns out there's Crunchyroll who says it is split into 2 halves. An official tweet from Mappa says it's going to be in 2 parts. And they are apologizing for it too. And they acknowledge it's kind of weird because it's already a part 3 of a final season that they're doing. So, excuse me for the coughs. So I think that means, we could be wrong, but I think that means between Crunchyroll, giant ass distributor of anime, and Mappa, the studio, it's a 1 cour season that's split into 2 halves. Do you remember the days where we questioned how Attack on Titan would wrap up? When we were in part 2, a lot of people were noticing, like, there's no way that this is going to wrap up before the manga is over. Or, like, wrap up in a way that, like, is going to actually wrap things up. Like, are we going to have a movie? Because the way they wrapped up part 2 is, like, there's 8 or 9 chapters left. Because apparently part 2 wrapped up on chapter 130. Joey in the chat said 131. I was seeing 130 elsewhere, but either or, they're basically 130, 131. That leaves 8 or 9 chapters left before the end of the manga. That's barely even enough for a 1 cour season. Unless like there's a lot of fighting going on and they spread out the fighting, you know, and animate it like a lot more than the manga had. That would explain that. But to hear there's 8 or 9 chapters left, and they're going to give us another cour season. Fantastic. It's going to get the, you know, attention it deserves, the proper thing. Looking at you, Promised Neverland Season 2. I will always look at you. Now we're hearing this final season is split into 2 parts. And that's why, if it was 2 cours, because typically anime cours are 12 episodes a cour, that would mean 24 episodes for this 8 or 9 chapters. No way in hell. And if they did do that, they are milking the series, and that would be terrible. They would ruin what is a modern day, our first modern day classic anime in like a decade. Ever since Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, I would argue. They are milking it, and it's so important for this anime to stick the landing. So I ask you, as like a potential question, why wouldn't Mappa or the distributors, I'm not sure who's the license holders, or I know Funimation, but like there's also Pony Canyon, Production IG, and a bunch of people. Why wouldn't they just push the release to June? You know, like just push it to airing in June. Because if this is going to be like, here's 4 or 5 episodes, and then here's another 4 or 5 episodes, that's not fun. Like that's just not, that's going to be rough. That's going to be a really rough ride. So I don't know, like it's going to be really weird to see. And I really hope they stick the landing, because sticking the landing on this anime will make it a modern day classic. Like our first classic anime that we have had in a decade. And the delivery is important. And there's no changing what they have set in motion, I'm sure. But just, it's going to be really interesting to see, like, when does part 2 happen of part 3, aka Kingdom Hearts 2.9 final remix. It's kind of weird news, so just want to do a straight video. No editing in this, because again, I'm head down on other work that I need to get done today. But I want to see your thoughts. Let me know what they are in the comments. Don't forget to be geek proud awesome, and I will be coming at you soon with maybe some Mob Psycho and My Hero Academia content. Till then, check out this video on the side.